Alrighty, welcome to this video, guys. Welcome to the course, Advanced Motion Graphics. Hopefully you can get in the course, log into your portal, and you'll see it there. Once you're in the portal, you should be able to click on it, and then it should open in Brightspace here. So yeah, we're using Brightspace. When you get there, when you get to the home page of the course, you'll see a little announcement that I've made here. It's a quick little video. It kind of gives you an overview of Brightspace. If you want to click on that, it'll show you all the different things that you can set up and that you should set up before you start doing courses here. So I would take a look at that, make sure that you do what it tells you to, and then you'll be kind of good to go there. Also, here on the home page, there's course resources. For this course, my goal and my plan here is just to go with GreenSock. And I know it sounds like the most ridiculous thing ever, but I've been playing around with it, and it's a pretty cool animation thing where you're doing all your animation with code. But we'll see, and if we go into something else, we will. But I kind of want to stick with GreenSock for now. And because of that, you're going to need to be able to turn in websites to me. So you will need to do this. Now I'm going to take a look at the roster. So Dustin, you're good. Bernard, you got your fishing 101 last quarter, right? So make sure that that's still up and working. And then Harley, I sent you that email. Yeah, I don't know you. Thanks for replying. I'm not sure where your skills are with web design and such, but for this course, you are going to need a domain. So you're going to need a .com. You're going to need a host to put your stuff online. And then you're going to need to be able to know how to put things online. So if you're like going, wait, what are you talking about? So what you'll want to do is come here to the home page of the course. And Bernard, you may want to do this as well as just a review. But you'll want to go through these one at a time. So go here, go there, and then go there. So you'll go to get a cheap free domain. And you'll want to watch this and figure out which one you want to do. You can get a free domain like Bernard did. You can get a .tk or .ga or .gl for free, or you can get a .com for about $9 a year, which is pretty awesome. But you'll watch this video, it'll walk you through which one, figure out which one you want to do, and then get your domain. Once you have the domain, you'll want to go back to the home page of the course here, and then get your free year of hosting. So Inner Server is a host that I use, and they give a year free of hosting for students. So watch this video. It'll take you through how to get the hosting, how to get the year free, and it'll show you how to hook the domain up to the host. Because once you get the host, you'll have to hook up your domain, your .com. You'll have to hook it up to your host. So when you type in your domain, it'll take you to the host. All right, so go through and do that. Then when you're done, you need to know how to put things on your computer up onto your host so you can turn things in. So this video will show you how to do that. So if you click here, it'll show you how to go into your host, set up an FTP account. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. It's how you can put files on your computer up onto a web host. It'll show you how to do that, and then it'll show you how to get an FTP client, which is the program that allows you to do that, and it'll show you how to take something from your computer and put it up online. And then it'll show you, once you've done that, how to actually access it from online, and so you can turn it into me. All right. There's going to be a lot of legwork, especially Harley, since I haven't had you before. That's going to be a lot of work. Not a lot of work, but it'll be a couple hours of work on your part to be able to catch up. Okay, but it's good though, because when you're done, you'll have a .com, you'll have a domain, and you'll have web space. So when you graduate, you'll be able to put your portfolio on there, and it'll be a lot more impressive than giving them like a CD or a flash drive. Right? So this is something you're going to want to do anyway. So if you haven't done it yet, cool, you're doing it now. All right? And, if you're freaking out and you need help, email me. We can set up a Skype session or something, and I can walk you through as needed. But those videos, I just actually created those videos today. They have everything you need to get you started. Okay. Let's see here. So when you're at the home page, Okay, you got those resources here. Also, lynda.com if you want a free subscription. That shows you how. And this is not going to mean anything because we're not in class. We're not on campus. So to get into the actual course, you're going to go to Learning Path. Okay, this is where you're going to see week by week things that we're going to be doing. I'm going to be updating this week by week, so I'll try to let you guys know when things are been posted, but I'm going to try, keyword try, I'm going to try to have the assignments in these videos posted by Tuesday of each week. All right, because I don't go on campus on Tuesday. I have a lot of time here at home, so that's when I'm going to create these. So hopefully I can get these done every week by Tuesday. If there's any issues, I'll usually let you guys know. So what you'll do, come here, go over to Overview. This is my contact information. When Jordan, he's our tutor, gets me his schedule, I'll be posting that here. There will be a picture that'll show his schedule, so you can go on there and get help with him if you need to. And then here is the syllabus. Okay, so take a look at that. The main thing in the syllabus that you need to be aware of is just due dates. If things are late, I knock 50% off. I accept late work, but late work is 50% off. So, but with these independent study classes that I'm running online, I'll probably have a little bit more mercy on the due dates. But for the most part, if things are late, 50% off, just so you're aware of that. And that's really the main thing in the syllabus you should be aware of. Okay, here's the textbook. The problem with these textbooks is they're more theory and they don't really show you how to do stuff. So I'm not really going to be using the book that much. I'm going to be mainly showing you GreenSock and how to use it. Okay, so you'll go to week 1. Okay, and the video coming soon is where I'm going to be posting this video that you're watching right now. So every week, you'll go week by week, there'll be a video, and then underneath it'll have the requirements of the assignment. So you'll watch the video, take notes, do the assignment. You know, I would follow along and write out the code with me to make sure you're getting it to work. Sorry guys, I've been sick. But anyways, you'll go through the video, make sure you understand the concepts. I'll give you all the concepts you need to be able to finish the assignment and get it done. So you'll watch the video, follow along with me, make sure you get everything working, and then come over here and do the assignment and do what it tells you. And then when you're done, you'll take the assignment, you'll upload it to your host, and then you'll give me the link that will take me to your work. And because Harley, you haven't done this before, I'll probably walk you through the FTP, even though the other video does too, but I'll show you guys how to do it. So hopefully that'll help out. So week 1, animated advertisement banner. You may have done something like this in other classes, but this is going to be different because you're going to be doing it with code. You're going to be doing this with JavaScript, basically. You're going to be animating things with code. Now, this class is, I mean, it's a 400 level class, so I am running this, you know, with hopefully, I'm running this as if saying, okay, you guys already are pretty solid with CSS and HTML. I'm not going to do a lot of teaching with that because that should have already been done. But if I talk about things that you don't understand, again, that's why you're going to email me, talk to me on Skype, and I'll help you out as needed. Okay. So we're going to be using GreenSock to animate a banner advertisement. We're not going to do anything crazy, just simple animations. We're going to string them together to create this interactive advertisement banner. You'll just have things happening on the banner, things moving around to get people's attention, and really that's about it. Okay, all the motion needs to be programmed by GreenSock. Okay, if you're not sure what size you want the banner to be, I gave you this little link here. This gives you standard web banner sizes. You can pick any of these. I don't care what size you choose, but any of these sizes should work fine. Okay, the requirements, you need to animate at least 5 different things. So you need to have 5 different things being manipulated and moved around on the page. Now, there's a good chance I'll probably be giving you 2 weeks for this assignment, but we'll see. And feel free to always email me if you're falling behind and me going and just tell me. I mean, because we're not in class, so I can't really get feedback from you guys whether I'm going too fast or not. If all of you guys are emailing me and saying, dude, slow down, we need more time, that's totally fine with me. Just let me know. Okay, you got to use timing offset at least once. We'll talk about what that is. Banner needs to be clickable, so when I click on it, it should take me to the website or take me to somewhere that has to do with what you're advertising. You need to use 3 different eases. We'll talk about those. Okay, you got to animate at least 3 different CSS properties. And again, if you're going, what is this stuff? Don't worry about it. I'm going to show you here. And then, of course, do your best to make sure this looks good. This could be a killer portfolio item to show them an animated banner that you've made, but then also that you did it with code instead of like Flash or Animate or something like that. So once you're done, you'll throw it up on your web post, and then what you'll do to turn it in is you're going to click on the title here. And then you're going to scroll down, and then where it says turn in the banner URLs here, you're going to click on it, and you'll hit reply to thread. And so it'll be your domain.com or whatever you have / the name of the assignment .html. Or if you put it in a folder, it'll be the folder / name of the assignment .html. You'll see. You'll see when we get there. And then you'll just hit post. And that's how you turn it in. You're not going to be uploading anything to Brightspace. You'll be uploading things to your web host, but not to Brightspace. Okay. But anyway, so let's hop into it and let's get started here. So the first thing you want to do is get brackets. Okay, so if I go to brackets.io, it's this really nice text editor. It allows you to code all kinds of different languages in it. Allows you to code HTML, CSS, PHP, all kinds of different things. But it doesn't matter if you're on Mac or PC, it works on both, which is really nice. So you'll want to download brackets and get it installed. Okay, once it's installed, we're going to run it here. And it looks like this. I'm going to close out of these. This is for other things that I was doing. Actually, no, we're not going to save that. Okay, so it looks something like this. You may see this, which is just a pre-built thing. With brackets, we don't really care about that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder on my desktop, and this is where I'm going to put everything. So I'm going to right-click, and I'll just call it, I don't know, week 1, motion. You can call it whatever you want, something that makes sense. Now, when you're naming things for web design, I recommend that you keep it all lowercase, no spaces, and all 1 or 2 words. And if you do use more than 1 word, don't have any spaces in there because that'll mess you up later on. Just trust me on that. So all lowercase, no spaces, keep it short and sweet. So W1 motion, I'm good with that. So go back to brackets, we're going to go File New. Then I'm going to go File Save As. And I'll call this just w1.html. And I want to save it in that folder I just made. So I'm going to head over to, I already forgot what I called it. There we go, W1 motion. And I would recommend having a folder for each week for each assignment that we do. It just will keep you organized, and then when you start putting it on your web host, it'll keep your web host organized as well. Now make sure you have the .html extension here. If you don't, it won't work. So name it whatever you want, all lowercase, no spaces. Okay, keep it short and sweet, and then .html at the end, and hit save. And save it inside that folder we just made. Okay, so we're going to throw in the doc type. That tells the browser what version of HTML we're using, which is HTML5. Okay, we got our HTML tags. That's just saying we're beginning an HTML document and then we're closing the HTML document. That's what that slash means. It means we're closing it. Okay, we got the head tag. That's stuff that's just kind of behind the scenes. And you can see the brackets is doing a lot of auto completing for you, which is nice. Just don't use it too much as a crutch, right? We're going to do a meta tag, which all this is saying it's defining a character set. This character set UTF-8 basically contains all the different characters of all the different languages, Chinese, Japanese, Arabic, whatever. All the different characters for all the different languages are contained here. And to be HTML5 compliant, we have to use this meta tag. All right, I'm going to throw in a title. I'll just say week 1 banner. You can call it whatever you want, whatever makes sense. Okay, in a minute we'll start throwing in some CSS, but we're not going to do it yet. So I'm just going to throw in a style tag right now. We'll do that later. Okay, now I'm going to throw in a body tag. This is going to be all the content on the web page. All right, so that'll be it for now. We're going to do a lot more, but we got to get off. We have to go off and get GreenSock, right? So I'm going to Google GreenSock. Okay, and there's the website, greensock.com, and we want to go to it. And it's just a JavaScript library, basically, that allows you to do animation, is really what it just comes down to. Now, we can go over here to documentation, and this is going to tell you basically anything you want to know that GreenSock can do. It'll show you how to do it. There's forums. I haven't really been in the forums that much, but I'm pretty sure you can come in here, and this is where you can get help and talk with other people and things like that. These are the different things that it does, but really we just want to head back to the home page, and we want to download GSAP. Okay, and I'm going to download the zip file. So I'm going to download it into my folder here, the week 1 motion. Hit save. All right, there's a zip file. I'm going to open it up. I don't need the Mac OS one. Even if you're on a Mac, I don't think you really need it. I just mainly need this. So basically what I can do is open these up in 2 different windows, and I can just click and drag this over. Okay, close out of that. So now here I am in my motion folder. I'm going to go inside of GreenSock. I'm going to go inside of source, and I'm going to go into minified. Minified just means it's a compressed file, and it's going to be as small as possible. Because I don't think, I mean, maybe later we will, but I don't think we're really going to mess with these files that much. So I'm going to go inside of minified, and the one we want is tweenmaxmin.js. So the tweenmaxmin. Now the GreenSock library has a bunch of different stuff. It has tweenlight, it has timeline max, it has timeline light. There's all these different types of plugins. You got, all of these, and the cool thing here is if you use the tweenmax.min, this contains all of them. So anything and everything that GreenSock can do is contained inside of tweenmax.min.js. So that basically gives us everything we need. And I just wanted to show you something kind of cool here. So I was taking some notes. So yeah, these are all the things that's contained. You got tweenlight, timeline max, CSS plugin. These are all the different plugins that GreenSock has, and they're all contained inside of tweenmax. So that just gives you the whole thing. All right, so that's the one we're going to use. All right, so I'm going to take this and copy it. And I'm just going to kind of back out, go back out to my motion folder here, and I'm just going to paste it. So now I have my week 1 that I'm creating in brackets here, right, that I've been doing here, and then I have this JavaScript file called tweenmax.min.js. And that's what I'm going to need, excuse me, that's what I'm going to need to be able to embed inside my HTML file so I can start animating things, right? And to be honest, I really don't need any of these. So I'm just going to get rid of them. So I got my tweenmax.min.js, and then I have my HTML file in the same spot. And remember, you can pause me. I am a video. So if I'm going too fast, pause me, rewind me, do whatever. All right, now I got to kind of figure out what I'm going to animate. Mine's going to be pretty ugly. It's not going to be anything amazing. But with yours, I would definitely take some time, make it as good as you can. But there's this beautiful dog called Sam. I think he was voted like ugliest dog on the planet like multiple years in a row. I like doing stuff with Sam because he's cool. So I'm going to grab this picture. All right, we'll call it Sam. And then I'm going to grab another one. I guess that one. I don't know. No, that's still kind of the same. Yeah, I guess we'll grab this. So save as. So I'll call it Sam2. So now in my folder, I have the HTML file, I have the tweenmax, and then I have the two pictures. And these pictures is going to be what I'm going to animate around and move around as needed. All right. So I'll minimize that. I'll come back to my code here. So I'm going to set up a div, and I'm going to give it an ID of Sam, because this will be the ID. This will be the div that contains Sam and what I'm going to do to him here. Now I'm going to throw in an image, and the first image I'm going to throw in is Sam. And I'm going to give him an ID of move Sam, because this is going to be the actual image that I'm going to be moving. And then image source equals Sam2. ID equals move Sam2. Now, when you're coding HTML, CSS, JavaScript, IDs, you can only have one ID on a page. So I can't have move Sam anywhere else or move Sam2 anywhere else. I got to keep them separate. All right, below all of my stuff, I'm going to put in the tweenmax library, the GreenSock. So script source equals the tweenmax.min.js. So the reason why I'm putting it down here is because HTML loads line by line. Okay, and I can't really edit or animate or move things around unless they've been loaded first. So HTML goes through, the browser goes through, it loads these images, it loads that they're called ID of move Sam and move Sam2. Then it loads the animation library, and then I can start coding things and making things move. And that's what I'm going to do here in this other script tag. Okay. So I've loaded in the two pictures. Okay, and then I've loaded the GreenSock library so I can animate things, and then I'm going to do all the animating inside of these script tags. So let's see what I have so far. So in brackets, you can click on this little arrow. I guess not arrow, lightning bolt, whatever you want to call it. It's called Live Preview. And that's going to open it up in Chrome, and it's going to show you what you have. So I have my two amazing pictures of Sam, but it's not really looking like an advertisement banner. So I need to get that set up. Okay, so I want it to be clickable. Well, I'll do that here in a minute. So now I got to start styling things. Here, we'll tab these over because they're inside the head tag. Okay. So I want to start messing with this div. If you don't know anything about divs, divs are just containers on a web page that hold pictures, and you can do whatever you want to the divs and style them out. So I'm going to style the ID of Sam. Okay, so this is selecting this div here that contains these two images, and I'm just going to start telling it to do things. I'm going to say border solid. I'm going to say I want the height of this div to be 300 pixels. I probably might change this here in a minute. Width is going to be 500 pixels. And overflow is going to be hidden, which basically means anything that's outside of this div, it's not going to show. All right, so if this picture was down here underneath the div, it wouldn't show up. So if I came over here and I did a couple break tags, see how the image is gone? You can barely see it right there. So actually, if I get rid of one of the break tags, yeah, you can see it's right there, but anything that overflows or is bigger than this div is going to be hidden. So that's why we can't see it. So this would be a good time to go back to the assignment and head over to the site and get an idea of what we'd want. So we could do, let's do the 300 by 250. That sounds amazing. Oh, you can always hit view example too, and that's kind of cool. It'll give you an example of what it looks like. Ooh, fat skyscraper. That sounds amazing. Nah, I'm good. So we'll do the 300 by 250. Oops. Okay, so 300 width, I'm pretty sure is what that was. So 300 and the height was 250. So now we're kind of using a standard size advertisement. Okay, so there we go. All right, so now this is kind of when you start wanting to think, and you definitely want to pre-plan this a little bit. You don't want to just start doing it and going, okay, I'll just see what happens. You want to start thinking, okay, I'd even sketch out your banner, to be honest. Sketch it out, figure out what it's going to be about, first of all, obviously, and then what are the 5 different things that you're going to animate on there? What are they going to do? Where are they going to fly in from? What kind of animation are they going to follow? Start thinking about that, because that's obviously going to be a little important. And then really everything you're going to animate on this banner just needs to be inside of this div that kind of contains everything. All right, so with this, I need to start styling the other pictures. So I have move Sam. Okay, and then I have move Sam 2. And I want to start styling it. So let's see here. I'll give it a width. I want it to be a little bit smaller here. So I'll give him a width of 100 pixels. Let's see what that does. Okay, he's a little bit smaller. I'm good with that. I'll give the other one a width of 100 pixels. Now, the cool thing about HTML is if you only define the width, it'll keep the height constrained with it. So it didn't skew it, it didn't squish it up or anything. It's still the same constraint or the same exact width and height that it was before. It's just a little bit smaller. So I'm doing what you shouldn't. I'm kind of just thinking off the top of my head what I want to have happen. So I think I'm going to have this Sam guy he'll be really small and he'll grow and he'll get bigger. So I'm going to move him around a little bit. I'm going to say position relative. Then I'm going to say top 5 pixels, left 5 pixels. Let's see where that puts him. So it gave me 5 pixels there and 5 pixels there. Yeah, I want a little bit more. So I'm going to say like 25 on the top, 15 here. Now I'll just go 25, 25. All right, so that looks good. And then the other Sam, I'll kind of do something similar. We'll go left, but we're going to make it bigger. We'll say like 150. I want him to be kind of in the other side, kind of in the right-hand corner, lower right-hand corner. Yeah, I went way too much on that. So the top of 100 was way too much. We'll go 50. Still too much. Yeah, I might not even need a top. Okay, and then we'll say a little bit more to the left. So what I'm doing right now, you're going to be doing a lot. You're just going to be throwing in a bunch of code and just saving it, seeing what it does, saving it, seeing what it does. And that's kind of the cool thing about brackets, by the way. So when you hit this live preview and it opens up Chrome, whenever you save in here, it's going to automatically update and show you what you've done. And that's pretty nice. So let's go with this Sam first. We'll have him be really small, and then we'll have him just kind of grow and kind of go into the banner. So this is where we're going to start actually animating. So inside of this script tag, so we've loaded the library that's going to allow us to start animating things. We're going to do what's called, I think, like an anonymous function. Maybe not anonymous function. Hold on, I'm going to go find that real quick because I want to tell you what the right term. All right, found what it's called. It's called the function literal. So we're going to do parenthesis. We're going to type function in this, and it's also an anonymous function because we're not giving it a name. Okay, and then we're going to go function, then another parenthesis, and then curly brackets. Okay, we're going to hit enter a couple of times. And then in here, we're going to throw in another set of parentheses, and we're going to hit semicolon. So what this is doing, it's just a fancy way, like usually the way functions work is you'll set up a function and it loads all the code that it's going to do, but it doesn't run the code until you call the function or you tell it to run. What this is doing is it's basically setting up a function and it's running it right when it sees it. This function, so what's inside of these curly brackets is what the function's going to do, and then right here is basically where it tells it to run. All right, so that's all we're doing. It's just a function literal. It's just a fancy way of saying, hey, I'm writing this function and the function's going to run when the page loads. That's really all that's happening. All right, I'm going to set up a variable. I'm going to call it T1 for timeline 1, and it's going to be a new timeline max. So if you've done anything in like Flash, Flash has a timeline. The timeline has frames on it. As the frames are ran, the animation works. And we're doing kind of the same thing, but we're doing it with JavaScript. So we're setting up a timeline, and inside of this timeline, animation is going to happen. Okay, so the first thing we're going to have is we're going to go T1 dot. So we're taking this timeline stored in T1, and we're going to say from. So we're going to move it from, and now it needs to know a bunch of different things. So what we're putting in here are basically called parameters or object, and our parameters or arguments. But parameters here, it needs 3 different parameters. It needs to know what it's going to move, it needs to know how long it's going to take, and then it needs to know what CSS properties it's going to be animating. So the first thing that we're going to tell it inside of these single quotes is what it's going to move. It's going to move Sam. Okay, this has the ID of move Sam, and that's what this pound here means. The pound means it's an ID. So we're saying on this timeline stored inside of T1, we're going to move Sam from where he is, and then we're going to say it's going to take, and each parameter that you put in here is separated by a comma. So we'll say it's going to take 2 seconds. Okay, and the next thing it needs to know are in curly brackets. And what this needs to know is, okay, what CSS properties are you animating here? So I'm going to be, let's see here. I'm going to be animating opacity. And I'm going to animate it to 1. And actually, I'm going to have to come over here, and I'm going to have to set the opacity of this to 0. Okay, and I'll show you what that does here. Basically, opacity of 0 just makes him invisible, basically. So when I animate this, it's going to take him from opacity 0 to opacity 1. Sorry, I lied. Because we're doing from, it's animating him from opacity 1 to opacity 0. See, watch, if I reload the page, he goes away. Takes him 2 seconds to go away. So actually that makes me go. So if I go 2 here, yeah. So that's kind of showing the difference here between from and to. So if I go 2, I'm animating him to opacity 1 to opacity 0. All right, so that's actually what I want right now. So there's two different ways you can animate. You can go to or you can go from. So from means you're starting out here and you're ending here. If I do from, sorry, I had to think there for a minute. It was hurting my brain. But if I do to, it basically says, all right, I'm starting out here and I'm going to opacity 1. If I do from, it just kind of reverses it. It's saying, all right, I'm starting from this and I'm ending here. So play around with that until you kind of get the effect that you want. But that's what I'm wanting, is I'm wanting him to fade in. All right, so anyways, I have it too. So I'm animating basically from this opacity of 0 and I'm animating it to opacity of 1. So another thing I could do is I could have him shrink down a little bit. So I could come over here and remember that this is kind of where he's starting and this is where he's ending. So I could start him out actually a width of 0 and then a height of 0. And then I can come down here and I can just add more properties. I just separate them with commas. So I can say the width is going to be 100. The height, I don't know, to be honest, like 200. Then I can save it. All right, now we can see that the height's kind of a little too much, so I can say more like 150. Excuse me. We can just kind of play around and kind of go until we go there. But you can see that he's kind of growing in now, and that's kind of what we wanted. Okay, he's short and he just kind of grows in. And we're doing all that with code, which is pretty awesome. Now, if I want it to be a little bit quicker, I can change it to 1 second. If I want it to fly in a little more, okay. But I can sit there and I can put in as many CSS properties as I want in here, and it will animate them. All right, so let's start messing with the other SAM. Okay, so I can hit enter. Now, if I want to add on to this scene and animate some more things, I just have to do a little period here. And that's adding on to the scene and it's animating more things. So I could try a from, and it's the exact same thing. So it needs to know what it's going to animate. It's going to animate move Sam to. How long do I want it to take? 1 second. Okay, and then what CSS properties do I want to animate? Now on this one, we won't do the fading in. We'll have him just kind of slide in from the right-hand side. All right, so we can play around with this a little bit. So we can say, I could say left 200. And we'll just say that for now because I kind of want to get an idea of what happens when I do this. So I can save it, refresh. Okay, and you can see that he moved it. He moved from the left a little bit, and that's what I want. I want him to move to the left. Now also you can see that animates first and then that animates. So you can see that it stacks. It does this one first and then it does this one. They don't go at the same time. So that's another thing to pay attention to. So if I say left 300, $400, this is actually going to give me what I want. So we can start seeing again kind of the difference between from and to. Like if I put in from, this is what I had. It basically says, okay, take him away, 400 left, and then bring him to where he was before, basically. But if I have 2, it's basically taking him to left 400. It takes him off the page. So boom, he goes off. So it's really important that you just kind of play around with the from and to until you get what you want, because I didn't really even have to go over here and tell him to be, left 500 pixels, get him way off here. It's just the from did it. Okay, which is nice. And that's kind of what I wanted here. So he comes flying in from the left. And then also if I wanted to, I could say top -20. That'll bring it up a little bit. Maybe. Oh, oops, forgot the colon there. And you can, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see he was up here and then he kind of came down a little bit. So what if I did 50? There we go. But this is just kind of telling him where to stop. Okay, so it's one of those things you're just gonna have to play around until you kind of get what you want and you get the effect that you're looking for. So if I wanted him to be a little bit higher when he's done, I don't really do that here. Okay, I can come over here and I'm just going to have to define where he is here. I'll just have to say, -50 pixels, and that should bring him up a little bit. And it does. So, like I said, it's going to be a matter of playing around with values until you're getting these to do what you're wanting. Okay. So that's how you're going to animate things. You're just going to put whatever you want to be animated in here, and you can do text as well, right? I can do divs inside of here with text inside of them. You can apply fonts to them because you are probably going to want some sort of text messages out there for them. And then all you're doing is you're just saying how you're animating these things, and then when you want to animate something else, you put a period on there. Now I said this needs to be clickable, right? So to do that, it's pretty simple. We're just going to put the div tag inside of an h tag. So I'm going to go out here. I think he has a Wikipedia entry. Yep. So there he is. I'm going to grab this. So we're going to be advertising his Wikipedia entry. So throw that in there. Okay, and then we're going to close the A tag after the div over here. So now the whole thing's clickable. So if I click on it, it takes me there. And I'm probably going to want to have target equals underscore blank. That's going to make it open in a new tab. Okay, so opens up the tab, that keeps it open there. All right, now you can also see that the border changed, right? It's kind of like purple now because that's telling me that it's been visited. So I can come over here to Sam and I can say, actually I don't need to do it on a new line, border solid, and I can say I want the border to be black. Okay, and now it's black. Okay. Let's see, there's still some other things we can do here that I want to show you. Now, if I wanted to start animating something else, I'd just throw in another period and I'd do a from or a to, and then I'd just do a whole new section. So you need to animate at least 5 things. So you're going to have 5 lines here. So just be aware of that. I'm only going to do these 2 just because I'm giving you an idea of how to get this going. Now, there's still some other things you need to know about. You need to know about delaying. You need to know about easing. So if I come over here to the GreenSock website, okay, and I come into, oh geez, I don't think, is it examples? No. If I go into docs and I'm looking at easing, there are a bunch of different eases. Okay, so maybe I want, I don't know, I can check out elastic, and it kind of shows me what it does, how it enters. So I could take a look at power. It just goes up straight. There's no change. Here it goes, you can see with power 2, it goes fast, and then it slows down a little bit. Same thing there. You can get rough, where it's like it's jerking all over the place. Slow-mo, it goes slow, and then it goes fast. So these different ways of easing things in. So I'll go with power 3. Power 3 looks great. Now, when I pick the one that I want, now remember, I went to docs, and then I went into easing, and then it gives me this graph here that shows me all these different things. So, excuse me, let's say I wanted power 3. So I pick the one I want, and then I can come down here, and it shows me how to do it. So I got my 2 ease. So all I got to do is just grab this ease right here. That's all I need. This is the ease statement. So I can copy that, or type it out, whatever. And I'm going to put it here. It's just another parameter that I'm throwing in there. I just put in a comma, and then I tell it when it animates these things, the ease that it's going to use is power 3 ease out. And then here, I don't know, just because bounce is kind of cool, we'll use bounce. So I can grab ease, bounce, ease out. And I can say here, when he comes in, I want him to bounce. So ease, bounce, and so forth. Now when I come back and look, you can see when he came in, he kind of bounced a little bit. This one was harder to see just because, it goes fast and then kind of slows down, but then he comes in and bounces. So some of these easings are a lot easier to see. And just to make sure, let's give him a bounce as well, just to make sure that it is working. Yeah, so he comes, bounces in, he comes in and bounces in, and so forth. So you can give eases, you can bounce them out, you can do what you need to do there. Now, as we can see, right, like this one animates first and this one animates second. That one comes in, then that one comes in. Well, what if I wanted to animate them at the same time? Well, there's things called offsets. And what we can do is we can come in here and I can say, all right, I want this to actually play at the same time as this one. So this takes a second to animate, then this one animates right after it, and that takes a second. So I can come over here and say, nah, I'm good. I'm going to put a comma right outside the curly bracket, and I'm going to say negative equals 1, and that brings the offset. This basically says offset this by a second. So if I offset this by a second, it's going to play at the same time because it waits a second and then it plays. Well, now I'm saying don't wait 1 second, just play. And so they should go at the same time now. Okay, so now they both come in at the same time. Now, if I wanted to offset it by like 0.5, I could. So this one comes in first, then that one comes in. I mean, it's whatever. It's whatever you want to do there. But the offset is good to know because then you can offset things and have them happen at the same time. Now I could say plus equals 1, and that's going to make it play 2 seconds after. So it plays, it waits a second, and then it comes in. So you can use these offsets to kind of time things as needed and to get them to come in as you want them to. Yeah, guys, that's about it. There's a ton of different things you can do here. But just start thinking, all right, you're going to be using to and from, give everything that you're going to be animating an ID, right? And then just think of all the different CSS properties that exist out there that you can animate. You can do a lot more opacity and width and height. I mean, you can do all kinds of different things. But I want you to play around with this. So let's head back to the assignment. Now the assignment should make a little bit more sense, right? So let's take a look. We'll go to learning path, head down here to week 1. All right, so you need to animate at least 5 different items. So I had two. I had the two Sam pictures. You're going to have 5 different things, whatever you need to do there. Okay, you need to have timing offset. Okay, the timing offset was this, so that needs to be in there at least once. You can have it in there more if you want. It needs to be clickable. Showed you how to do that. 3 different eases. Okay, so I had 2 in mine. I had the bounce and the bounce. Okay. You need to animate at least 3 different CSS properties. So here I animated opacity, width, and height, and left. So I would be good there. And just make sure it looks good. Okay, and obviously when you're using your eases, you don't want to use bounce just because it's cool. Use bounce if maybe you're animating a basketball or something. I mean, use the eases that make sense. But yeah, I guess, the last thing I could show you is text, right? Okay, so I could throw a div in there. Sam is amazing. I don't even know if that's going to show up. And then I'm going to give it an ID or a class. It doesn't really matter. So ID, I'll say text1. Okay, and then I would just come over here and I would style it. Let's see, I'd say color. We could give it, I don't know, cornflower blue. That sounds amazing. Actually, I just want to see if it's even showing up yet. It's not, so I got to give it a height and width. So height, 30 pixels, width, 50 pixels, position relative. And I'm going to give it a solid border just so I can see it. If it's even in there. Okay, it's right there, but it gets pushed down. So you can see when Sam comes in, it pushes it down. So that's fine. I can do position absolute. And then I can say top 20 pixels, right 30 pixels. Okay, so Sam's up there. And now giving that position absolute makes it so it doesn't really matter what these are doing. It's not getting pushed around by it. And another thing I need to do is the way absolute positioning works is this is kind of going into a little bit, but right now as I move this, you can see that it's always doing top 20, right 20 from the browser window. I don't want that. I want it to go top 20, right 30 from this. So because it's positioned absolutely, what I need to do is come up here to Sam, which is the containing div, and I need to position that. And if I just say position relative, it won't move anything, but it'll allow that position absolute to work. So now you can see that it's working in there. So anyways, I can come in here and just start doing whatever. I change the color. I can say font family. I want it to be Arial. The width I want to be a little bit more because I want Sam is amazing to fit in that whole thing. So I can say width of, I don't know, 150-ish. It's too much. Okay, and 30 is too much. All right, so I get that positioned how I want it. Again, I'm doing what you shouldn't do. I'm just kind of throwing things out. Now, I don't need that border anymore because I don't really care. I don't want to see it. All right, Sam is amazing. So I could have that. I mean, I don't know. I could have that come down from the top. So it's going to be something similar. So I have text one, right? So same thing, I come in here. I'm probably going to use a from on this one. And I'm going to say text1. We'll animate that in 1 second. And then we're going to say top, I don't know, 300. See what that does. We'll have that bounce as well because all of the rest of them are, so why not? And I'm not going to worry about any offsets right now. So there it is. The SAM comes bouncing in, another one comes in, and the other one comes in. You know, so you can do whatever you want. You can play around with things. Just, you know, have fun with it. Think about what you want to do, and then try to get it to work with the code. Let me know, guys, also if you think if 1 week is fine, let me know. If 2 weeks is fine, let me know. I kind of want to get an idea of what you're thinking here. So anyways, get your thing going, get it working, and well, I guess really quick, I'll show you how to get it uploaded. So I use Firefox because the plugin that we use to upload things I've done in Firefox. I use this thing called Fire FTP. To get it, you're going to click on the hamburger menu. You're going to go down here to add-ons. You'll go to extensions and then type in Fire FTP and do a search and make sure available add-ons is checked, not my add-ons. It'll come up here. Mine isn't because I already have it installed, but let's pretend this is it. You hit install and then it's going to tell you to reboot Firefox. Just restart it. So you'll hit restart, it comes back up. If it's not up here after you've installed it, it's this little blue guy. You're going to hit the hamburger, go down to customize, and then he'll be hanging out in this area. You'll see him like this. So you'll click and drag him up here, you'll let go, and then he'll be hanging out up there. Hit exit customize, and he should be there from now on. And then you'll click that. Now you need to log into your host. And this is where, I'm not going to show you how to do this. This is where you need to go into the host, set up an FTP account so you can do this. But you're going to do a create an account or quick connect. You'll do create an account if it's on your own computer. You'll do quick connect if it's on a public computer. But you would create an account. The host is going to be your domain. So in my case, it's those 1kids. Okay, the login is going to be what you set up when you set up that FTP account. And the other video, the FTP video, will show you how to do that. You're going to throw in your password, and then you'll hit OK. And if you did it correctly, something will come up on this side. Okay, if something comes up here, you did it wrong. If you get a bunch of red letters down here, you did it incorrect, and it didn't work. But this side is all the stuff on your computer. This side is all the stuff on your host. Now you want to upload everything inside a public HTML or it won't work and you won't be able to see it. All right, so I'm going to double click public HTML. Okay, this is my live folder. So when I go to those1kids.com, it takes me into public HTML. So I can see Jake, CTech, Dave Kid, Grass, Healthy Living, right? Grass, Healthy Living, Jake, all this stuff is everything that's inside of public HTML. So what I would do is kind of make this a little bit smaller. And I'm going to grab the folder that I was messing around with. So the W1 motion. Okay, I'm going to grab this folder and I'm just going to click and drag it here. That's it. And I'm going to upload the whole folder. That's going to upload everything that's inside the folder. So I'm going to click and drag, let go. It's going to say working. It's going to tell me about how long it's going to take. And then when it's done, it'll just say everything's done. It won't be working anymore. Now, if I come back here to my domain, I got to start thinking here. Okay, I uploaded a folder called W1 motion. So when I type in my domain, it takes me into public HTML and I just put a folder called W1 motion in there. So this takes me to public HTML. I want to go inside the folder called W1 motion and I can hit enter. It takes me in there. Okay, there's my TweenMax, there's my pictures of Sam, and there's my HTML file. So I could just click on the HTML file. Okay, and you can see that it's working. Or I could have just said W1 motion / w1.html because that's in the name of the HTML file that we made. So once it's loaded like that, this is going to be what you turn in. So I would copy this, go back here to Brightspace. Okay, I'm going to click on the assignment. I'm going to click on the thread here, hit reply, and then I would throw in that link. Hit post, and then it's turned in. All right, I know this is a lot, especially if you don't have the web host, but you can learn all this stuff. The videos are showing you everything you need to know. So do what you got to do. Let me know if you're going to need a week or two for this, and we'll go from there. But any questions that you have, let me know. And you can reach out to Jordan too, who's the tutor. But I'm here to help, guys. So good luck. Have fun. We'll see you later.